Hello, friends. You're welcome to another live edition of my YouTube channel. I am live on YouTube, and there is so many things. There are so many things that have been going on, and I would really love to have a chit chat with you about what has been going on our African um social media space. So today is another live session of our African perspective. And I'm going to be discussing, I'm going to be chatting, I'm going to be conversing with you about so many things about our African perspectives. And like always, on these days, I talk about African perspectives on my live video. I share with you about um, stories that have been going on our African social media space, especially on the Cameroonian social media space. And I expect that as I share with you, you can give me your own opinions about African perspective. So today is one of those days, and I'm going to be sharing with you um, something very important. And this is about domestic violence. I really don't have so much time. If you saw my post about this, then you would know about what we're going to talk about. So this is one of those posts that I took out of Delhi's Matchups. If you don't know about Delhi's Matchups is a Cameroonian blogger. Is a renowned Cameroonian blogger who goes by the name Delhi's Matchups, and she shares a lot about relationships, and she is actually spiritually very particular about marriages and how to heal African marriages, and Cameroonian and African social media space when it comes to marriages. And one of the things that she is against is what Cameroonians call Kamuste. Kamuste means that a guy doesn't get married to you, a guy doesn't take any permission from your family to take you in as a wife, and she's against Camuste. She's a Christian, and everything she preaches about is mostly about Christianity, religiosity, and reality. So, as much as Delhi's matchups will talk about the religious aspect, the Christian aspects, and why you should not do what you are doing, she would also tell you that this case requires that you get divorced from this person because it is better to be alive than to stay in an abusive relationship. So as much as Delhi's matchups is really deeply connected to biblical religious ways, she's also connected to reality. And when I say reality, reality is like preaching the word and applying the word accordingly. As much as the Bible says that the Bible is against sin, the Bible equally says that if in case you are being abused in your marriage, then it is okay for you to get divorced. And she is actually that great. So if you really want to follow up Delhi's matchups, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Instagram and follow Delhi's matchups for more inciting stories about relationships, friendships, and every other thing. She does videos, she has a lot to talk about, and that's one of my mentors, and I respect her. So actually, I picked this story out from her blog, and this is how this story goes. A lady frequently brutalized by her boyfriend, is unwilling to break up with him. This is very typical of French Cameroonians, especially from the central region where the president of Cameroon comes from. The ladies in the central region, which is the regions around Yaoundé and maybe parts of the southern regions of Cameroon, including Eboloa, Betwa, these ladies love to be beaten by their men. In fact, physical torture and abuse in a relationship to them is a show of love and affection. So, this post is actually based on a lady around these regions. And this is how the story goes out. She has been brutalized by her boyfriend. This man is not married to her, it's only her boyfriend. But she's unwilling. She doesn't want to break up with him. Why would a lady not want to break up with someone who is completely abusive of her? If you saw the poster, you would see how the girl looks like. She has been battered, she has been brutalized, broken, and you can see how disfigured she looks like. And the question is, why would this girl want to stay in this relationship in spite of everything that a man has done to hurt her, to make her feel pains? And I don't know, pains, pain, pain in a relationship comes with some sort of self-worth. And I think that the way a man treats you shows how much worth he places on you. Okay, so let's go on to read this. A violent man identified as Massa Ndi, who lives at Cité de la Paix in Douala, is notorious for torturing his girlfriend Karen whenever they have a misunderstanding. He uses a barbed wire, clubs, and sticks to inflict her pains. It is reported that she's been condoning with his actions, hoping that he will change. How many of us ladies always condone with men's actions? How many of us ladies always think that the man will definitely change? And then the man never changes. He's always the same person. Personally, I believe that the kind of things you tolerate in a man or woman in a relationship are the same kind of things that you would have to keep on tolerating when you actually get married to the man or woman. So it is your choice to determine if this man or woman is worth it for you to tolerate, for you to let go of, and for you to decide if this is something that um, gives you the best of what you want. Hi, Ashanti Nikki TV. Hello, guys. So, this is Ashanti Nikki TV, who is a Cameroonian YouTuber. She talks about relationships, marriages, and friendships. And if you want to know more about her channel, you can just hop into her channel and discover who she is and the awesome tips she shares on her channel. Hi, Ashanti TV, Nikki TV. Please do not forget to give me a thumbs up and thank you for showing up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, reading what we have today on our table, a violent man identified as Massa Ndiaye, who lives at Cité de la Paix in Douala in Cameroon, is notorious for torturing his girlfriend Karine whenever they have a misunderstanding. He uses a barbed wire, clubs, and sticks to inflict pains on her. It is reported that she is condoning with his actions, hoping that he will change. There are so many African women, so many Cameroonian women who are in an abusive relationship, hoping that the man will change, hoping that they can actually repair the damages that are in the man, hoping that they can actually show the man some love to become somebody and to actually show them the love and to actually treat them as if they are humans. But the question is, are the men changing? Let me read one. No, 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 you're not late. We just started. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We just started. So you're not late. You're not late. Okay, so let me continue to read what I picked up from Delhi's matchups. It is reported that she's been condoning with these actions, hoping that he will change. Whenever he brutally beats her up, she sustains injuries and leaves. Every woman sustains injuries and leaves. It is your choice to determine whether when you sustain those injuries and leave, you're going to come back or you're going to walk away. It is your choice. When you come back, then you're signing a death warrant, believing that love will kill you and that you're going to go back to the seventh heavens death and reporting to your ancestors that you died out of your stupidity. Another option for you is to actually walk away, believing that you have the propensity to become better than whoever is looking down on you. So, but a few days after leaving, she returns to the love of her life. So a few days after leaving, she actually returns to the love of her life. Now, this is where you actually ask, what is the love of her life? If someone loves you, then they would definitely treat you the way they want to be treated. This is where I always say that if someone really loves you, then they would want to treat you the way they want to be treated. The truth is that when you treat people the way they treat you, they realize that there is an empty space. If people who are not genuine with you treat you in a bad way, try to treat them the same way they treat you. That is when they're going to notice that the way they are treating you is not the way they'd love to be treated. And that speaks volumes. Why would she go back to the man thinking that he's the love of her life? If someone loves you that much, then they should be able to treat you better. They should be able to love you better. They should be able to treat you as if they are treating their own selves. So when a man doesn't treat you as though they are treating themselves, if a man buys a pair of jeans for himself and doesn't buy a pair of jeans for you, if a man buys a hat for himself and doesn't buy a hat for you, my sister, look into it and start asking yourself, is he treating me the way he is treating himself? When your partner doesn't treat you the way they are treating themselves, there is a loophole. It means that the love they are professing to you is not genuine. It means that there is some sort of a dysfunctional relationship in the way they are professing to you that they love you and in the way they are acting that they love you. And you have to start questioning yourself if this is the love that you want, if this is the love that you were taught, if this is the love that you want to receive. It is better for you to leave early than for you to condone and then get broken, get demoralized, get psychologically tortured, and then completely get psychologically malfunctioned in a way that you lose your self-esteem, that you do not value yourself as somebody who has to take over, somebody who has your own glory as a woman, somebody who feels your self-worth, then you should actually leave. Okay, let me continue to read what I picked up from Delhi's matchups about this case of um, violence and abuse in relationship. Remember, this man is her boyfriend. He is not married to her. And even if he is married to her, violence is never the solution. Okay, so my Ashanti Nikki TV, she says, sure, it's your choice, darling. Ha ha ha. Yes, it's certainly your choice. Let me share this video in my community. Like, okay, let me try to share this video. Okay, so let me keep on reading. Whenever he brutally beats her up, she sustains injuries and leaves. But a few days after, she returns to the love of her life. Ndie, that's the man. The man is called Ndie. Ndie, okay, let's go back there. Ndie has a track record of frequently beating his biological father whenever he was alive. Okay, so this guy had a biological father. His biological father was alive, and he's got the track record of always beating his biological father. So this is why you ask yourself this question: if a man could beat his biological father, then how much of you? Do you know the implication of someone being your parent? This is where we make mistakes. When a woman moves into a relationship, when a lady walks into a relationship, you carry a cover on you. That cover is your family. That cover is your brothers. That cover is your sisters. That cover is where you come from. That cover is what frightens a prospective partner to have an obligation to respect you. And when you disobey your parents, when you disobey your brothers, when you disobey your sisters and walk into a relationship or marriage without their confirmation, you are taking off your crown as a woman. You are taking off your protection as a woman, and you walk in naked. And that man that you're moving in with, who is not married to you, gains control over you. He gains the ability to not fear anyone that stands behind you because you have disrespected those people he is supposed to fear. You have disrespected those people that your boyfriend or husband should see and have the obligation to treat you right and have the obligation to honor you as his partner. A woman should never walk into a relationship or marriage without that ordained authority of her family, her father, her mother, her brothers, and sisters. Because when you walk in naked, that man is not going to respect you. That man's family is not going to respect you because they see no authority behind you, and they will rough handle you, knowing that nobody will call them to question them about how they handle you. Hi, Betty. Hi. healthy body, peaceful mind. Hi, sister. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming into my live video. Please do not forget to give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. So, continuing with what we were talking about, we're talking about a case of domestic violence. So, I picked up this story from Delhi's matchups, and I've been reading that story. And we were at the point where he says, Ndie has a track record of frequently beating his biological father. So I've been talking about this. Now, when you meet a prospective boyfriend, when you meet a prospective husband, these are the questions you should ask them. Who is the authority you fear? Ndie, as much as I can read from here, has no authority that he fears or respects. When I talk about fear, I don't talk about fear of being frightened. I talk about respectful fear. Somebody that he can honor, somebody that he can put himself under, somebody that can shout at him and tell him that, son, you're doing the wrong thing. Daughter, you're doing the wrong thing. Somebody that he can honorably submit to listen to, and obey, and humble himself in humility, so that this person can tell him that you're treating your wife the wrong way. You're treating your girlfriend the wrong way. You're treating this girl that is to become your wife the wrong way. And this is how a man should treat a woman. And this is how you should go about it. Always ask the man trying to chase you that, who can I report you to in your family? So from every indication, if this man who was violent to his wife beat up his father, you as a woman, ask yourself, if he could beat up his father, can he respect me as his partner? Can he respect my people as the people that have the authority over me? Can he humble himself to be shouted as a child, to put himself down as a child? These are the questions that, if a man is coming into your life, ask him, who can I report you to? If we have a problem, who do you fear? If we are fighting, who can you humble yourself with? Remember, humility is not humiliation. Humility means putting yourself down to authority to listen. And when you put yourself down to authority to listen, it means you are smart enough to be corrected. You are smart enough to be pointed out at, to say that you should go towards this direction. Humility is not humiliation. When someone is humble, it doesn't mean they are being humiliated. No. It means that they have the effrontery to understand that they understand the world so much so that they can listen to authority and then step up in the right way. This is where we go wrong. So, when you look at this story, the guy who beat up his wife did not have no respect for his dad. So the question you should be asking as a woman is that, if he had no respect for his dad, how will he have respect for you? Okay, let me keep on with the story. And the story ends with, he is currently on the run. Now, he is currently on the run. Why is he on the run? Of course, if you look at the picture I shared on my moments, you will realize that the lady is seriously battered. And then you start asking questions like, why would a young lady tolerate this kind of physical abused that she is beaten black and blue and she stays there? Why would you remain faithful to a man that is not informed, that has no knowledge of the ministry of being a husband, that has no calling of how to be a husband? How do you submit to somebody that has no idea what it means to be a husband and doesn't even know what it means to be a father? And then when I read the comments, I actually went through the comments, and that was a different ball game. The shocker of it was like, okay, let's go to the comments, and read the comments. You know, let's read the comments, because that's just part of the whole deal. Now, this is one of the comments I'm going to be reading out to you guys. Is the comment that was given by Deli's Matchups herself, and this is what she wrote. Now, we might try to insist only on the fact that he is just a boyfriend, blah blah blah. Even in marriage, I will advocate for a divorce immediately. I read a comment yesterday, and the guy claimed I am encouraging divorce and God hates divorce, blah, blah, blah. Typical of people who only quote scriptures when it suits them. God hates sin, even domestic violence. Wait until you see your daughter, son, or siblings in the condition, and I'll ask you to quote that scripture again. It hurts when we are selfish with scripture and insist on defending animalistic tendencies. This woman clearly has lost her sense of self-worth. And the fact that she keeps going back doesn't justify the animal. That's what she says. This could be the only thing close to love she's ever experienced. That doesn't make it right. It only shows she needs help and therapy. Yet some narcissistic men will come here and claim she should endure and submit because they want to keep propagating such evil. God hates wickedness. And this right here is the definition of wickedness. I 100% agree with what Deli's Matchup says. It's got a lot of sense. First of all, let's go back to her comment and evaluate what she said in her comments. And this is what she says. Let's go back to her comment. Why some people at the comment section try to insist that this is only a boyfriend, she vehemently says that if this guy was married to this lady, she would propose that they get divorced. If you look at the poster related to this video, you would see how battered this lady is. And then you will start to ask yourself that, what if a man treated my daughter this way? This is a question that triggers a lot of men. Whenever you feel like your man is not treating you right, just put him through a conversation and ask him, would you like your daughter to get married to a man like you? That question completely makes a lot of men to lose it, because the truth is this: would you want another man to treat your daughter to marry? Would you want a man like you to marry your daughter? That is a conscience kind of question, whereby an informed man will actually sit down, evaluate what he's doing to his partner, and try to see how wrong he is. And this would definitely help him to figure out if he is treating his partner in the right way or if he needs to make amends. Because if you would not want your daughter to be married to a man like you, then you should obviously know that there is something wrong with a man like you. My sister Ashanti Nikki TV says, I'm telling you, my sis, some men are animals. Of course, the answer will be no. Yes, of course. I once asked somebody that question and he said, of course, I want a man to be married to, I want a man who is better than me to be married to my daughter. That is very typical of African men. That is why most of our live videos are about African perspectives, where we bring out African perspectives. The truth is, when I talk about African perspectives, my intention is because I love marriages. I love to see African marriages prosper. I love to see reparation. I love to see forgiveness. I love to see the best part of us. Our ancestors were married for like forever. But I would want that as much as we pick up everything that is coming up from the modern man, we should be able to intertwine that into our reality and create marriages that will last forever. Let's just be sincere. I just want sincerity. If you are coming in as a man, you should be coming in as a woman. And all we need is sincerity. So, um, going back to Deli's answer, this is what she said. She would advocate for divorce. That means, oh, I'm angry in my spirit. I'm angry in my spirit. I know that my channel is not for pidgin speaking. My channel doesn't only relate to Cameroonians because I would really want to address people that are in the whole world. So sometimes I actually avoid pidgin English because I want to be able to speak English so that I can relate with every other viewer from different walks of life, from every other country. So I'm kind of very angry in my spirit because I hate the religiosity in this whole nonsense. When I say I hate the religiosity in this whole nonsense, the thing is, I hate the fact that sometimes something that is so clear, we Africans take religion and try to use religion to shield people's conscience, conscience and mind, and we try to turn things and try to play those mind games that will make people fear God and then act as if, oh, because God is involved, let me try to be religious. No, I am not trying to be religious. To me, I feel that this girl has a problem. Okay. And like Deli's matchup says, I am for what she said, that if this man was married to this woman, he would tell the woman, divorce the man because he is toxic. He was not brought up to know what it takes to be a husband, to be to be a father, to be a keeper, and to be someone that will bring his home together. And I would certainly tell this sister, if you're married to this man, divorce this man. A man who loves you would not abuse you, whether physically, psychologically, mentally, or by whatever means. Love is not shown through abuse. You cannot say that you love somebody and you derive your love for that person by inflicting pains on them. When you love someone, you'd love to see the best out of them. You would like to build them. You would like to see them perform the best of who they are. You would like to see them show off to the world that they have these talents. You would like to support them to be who they naturally are. You would not want to beat them up and ruin them and psychologically torture them and make them be a shadow of who they actually are and start asking themselves where their self-confidence went to, because you, as a man, did not cherish who you met. So going back to the next point, she said, I read a comment yesterday and the guy claimed I'm encouraging divorce and God hates divorce. This is where I get mad with our African perspectives. Yes, God hates divorce, but the same God equally hates it when people are not treated right. Hi, Rosa Keb and Beauty TV. Thanks, sister, for coming up. And please do not forget to give me a thumbs up. It's been a while, and here we are just doing our YouTube live video. If you have not checked Rosa Care Beauty TV, please do well to check Rosa Care Beauty TV. This is a fellow Cameroonian YouTuber, and she does a lot about beauty, health care, and she shares very great tips about healthcare, beauty, and every other natural tips you'd really benefit from if you just go to our channel and see what she shares. So just hop into Rosa Care and Beauty TV. She also oh my goodness, she also shares a lot of social, vibes about what is going on in our country, Cameroon, and she's that good. So follow Rosa Care, and you would learn a lot from her. So going back to our topic, so I'm actually at the moment I'm reading out the comment Delhi's matchup left on this whole domestic violence situation. And she said, I read a comment yesterday, and the guy claimed I'm encouraging divorce and God hates divorce. Yes, God hates divorce, but God also hates wickedness. The man is being wicked to this woman. If this woman were your sister, you would not come on social media and say that God hates divorce. If this lady were your sister, you would go out there and fight for her. If this lady were your sister, you would tell her to leave that man, to dump that man, because she is better off alive than death. The next paragraph, she says, it is typical of men who only quote scriptures when it suits them. A lot of we Africans only quote scriptures when it suits us. When scriptures are not favorable to us, we start manipulating people and trying to make them to understand. It's like we hate to take responsibility of our actions. I always say an informed, mentally aware human being, adult, will stand up and say, yes, I messed up. I know I did this and this. And here I am. I have learned from my mistakes and I am ready to change. Please give me a chance. But someone who is not mentally informed will try to manipulate you and to make you think that it's wrong for you to feel the way you feel after they have become toxic and treated you wrong. And I completely feel that this man who said that Delhi's matchups is encouraging divorce should be the type of man who will not treat women right, who will not treat women right. And why would a man not treat women right? A man would not treat a woman right because he was never taught to treat women right. His dad never showed him how he treated his mom. So he has no knowledge about how to treat a woman right. His mom had never been treated right. So he doesn't know. His dad, the way his dad treated his mom, normalized how a woman should be treated. And he feels that rough handling a woman is something normal. So when you see men that are toxic, sometimes they come from very toxic backgrounds. Sometimes they have no idea. Sometimes they have never known what it means because the male figures in their lives, the dads in their lives, the men they know in their lives have never treated women right, and they've got no idea. That is the truth about it. Okay, now this is what she says. Wait until you see your daughter, son, or sibling in this condition, and I'll ask you to quote that scripture again. It hurts when we are selfish with scriptures and insist on defending animalistic tendencies. This is something that makes me really passionate about this whole thing. If you've never really sat down in your life and actually gone through to actually be very, very, very truthful to yourself, that you slap yourself, whoop yourself in the ass, and tell yourself that you messed up. You point at yourself and said, you, I am referring to I, messed up. You would not understand what it means to actually be accountable and responsible for our actions. We Africans, sometimes we fall short of being accountable and responsible for our actions. So much so that instead of parents owning up to tell their children that, my son, you see this thing that I did to your mother, I messed up. Do not do this thing to your wife. My son, you see this place that I went to, I messed up. I treated your mom wrong. We African parents do not own up to our mistakes, that we are that very truthful to ourselves first to actually be accountable for what we do. So much so that our kids do not normalize what they see us do. So much so that our kids have to learn from us to know that daddy treated mommy this way, and that daddy told me that he made a mistake, so I should not copy from daddy. There are so many kids going through bestiality because they learned from a dad who was a beast to their mom. They normalized it. They don't have that feeling because that is what they were taught, and that is who they are becoming. Okay. So this is what Rosa K wrote. I can't support domestic violence. Rosa K says some people are professionals in playing the victim. Marriage is not a do or die. When they say for better for worse, doesn't mean someone's life should be at stake, which is very true. Marriage is not a do or die. This is one thing that we as Africans, we should be accountable for. I always say, if this is the bed you lie on, then you should ensure that the bed you lie on, you can go on that bed knowing that whoever meets you on that bed will pamper you, even if you just sleep there and go off. When you understand that this is the bed, the thing is that so many men do not understand that the bed they share with their wives is that important, that that is where they can lay down, wake up, lay down, and never rise up again. When you come to understand that this is the bed, why is it called matrimonial bed? It is called a matrimonial bed because that is a bed that is honorable. If you cannot honor the bed you sleep on, so much so that before you go to bed with your wife and before you wake up, there is peace, there is harmony, there is joy, then there is something wrong with you as a man. A man should be the head of a house, not the torture, not something that when kids see you coming, they run away. When kids see you coming, they are scared of you. A man should be the head of the house that will tell the children that we are working towards family development. We are working towards family growth. We are working towards your tomorrow. We are working towards creating empires for this family that will expand, that will go beyond our own territories and extend. So when you see this kind of issues that have to do with domestic violence, you would understand that the man himself had a disconnected childhood. The adults in his life never taught him what it means to actually love a woman. Because when you love something, you nurture it, you water it, you see it grow. Take, for example, you find a lovely rose flower, you plant it in your garden, you pour water on it, onto it, because you want to see it grow. You pour water onto it, and when it gets flowers, you see the colors of the flowers, you are satisfied. You want to keep it blooming. What happens when you destroy that glow? What do you ask yourself? Are you impacting positively on these flowers you harvested? That is why back in the days, when you go to marry a woman traditionally, they always use the word, I see some flower for your compound. Na iwe awankan kotam. I say it in pidgin English. I saw a flower I saw a flower at your compound. Compound, when we say compound, it's like your family home. And I would like to come and harvest that flower. The harvesting of a flower is traditionally um, uh, uh, an impactful ceremony whereby you cannot come into somebody's compound and just harvest a rose flower like that. No, 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 you will be called back. You would be asked, we watered this flower, we watched it grow. Why would you harvest this flower without informing us that you like this flower? It's a red rose. Red roses are expensive. It's a yellow rose. Yellow roses symbolize the sun and they are expensive. Until you get to that point in time whereby you understand what it means to go to see a woman that you love and then go to her family to ask her hand in marriage. And then you have to use the native words, I saw a flower in your compound and we came to harvest those flowers. You would not understand the symbolic symbol attached to a flower. You would not understand how important a family is when they give out their child to you, when they give out their daughter to you, knowing that you cherish the flower you came to harvest, knowing that after harvesting that flower, you're going to plant it at your home, knowing that when you plant that flower at your home, you are going to water that flower and ensure that it blooms and ensure that it breeds new flowers and ensure that it beautifies your home, and ensure that that flower breathes a fragrance that when anyone gets into your house and leaves, they will forever psychologically remember the awesome smell of that flower. My dear sister. So this is what Rosa K says. Every signs man, of a man's bad behavior we see during dating. But some of us ignore red flags because we always think we will change, of which it will never be that. Marriage just unveils all the characters. Yes, this is sincerely true because this is what Delhi's matchups adds on the post, and she says the woman would leave and then come back thinking that the man will change, but he will not change. After an argument, he turns back to be the same man again. We always hope that it will change. This is what a lot of us African women, we've had it wrong. This is what you should understand. You are not Jesus. You will not change any man. Two, you can never influence an adult. Three, a man makes choices according to his need at that time. Four, you cannot kill yourself in the process of changing a man. Sometimes change requires that you let go of the person you're trying to change. Your absence is the change he needs. Sometimes your presence is not the change he needs. Sometimes it's your absence that requires that he changes. And if he changes, and God allows him to meet you up when he has changed, then he is lucky. But if he cannot catch up with you when he has changed, then he should be changing for the next woman for the right reasons. While you are already with somebody who already values you in ways that he could never value you. And this is what where my sister would I leave you? The chat, they go. And this is where Ashanti says many girls don't know that in the beginning of a relationship, that the beginning in relationships matters. That's when you have to put your relationship the way you want it to work. Yes, the beginning of a relationship matters. What you tolerate in a relationship will be what you're going to tolerate in marriage. Now, I'm going to put in a very pertinent story because when I talk about African perspectives and all of these relationship jargons, I always like to bring personal experiences. Back in the university when I used to be like when my blood beat is still hot, when I was still like, okay, I loved somebody. And, to me, at that point in time, it was like, okay, I was actually not that I had the money, no, but I would say that it was easy for the money to come by through my own side, but not from his own side. And we basically managed from the money coming in from my own side. And along the way, I realized that even when I was struggling, even when the money was not coming through from my own family's side, this guy never ever understood that I, as a woman, needed some form of support or some stipends or, just some kind of, okay, babes, take this and buy a pair of slippers for yourself, or babes, take this and do your hair. Now, why am I saying this? These are those tiny bits of things that when they come in a relationship, we ignore them. We feel like, oh, I want to take my boyfriend out, not knowing that you taking your boyfriend out is a good thing, but it may be a bad thing if he doesn't have the background first, if he has not been taught by his parents. Second, if he doesn't have the mental capacity to understand that as a man, as an African man, that is why we talk about African perspectives here. This is not about other cultures. This is about African perspectives. When he doesn't understand that as an African man, he should step in for his African woman. Third, when he has no idea what he is doing. And so at the end of the day, he would neglect some things that you expect that he should do. That is why you see a lot of young boys who are stepping up as sugar babies to their sugar mummies. A guy that has a sugar mommy means that this guy did not grow up with the mental capacity to understand that him as a man should cater for his woman. So much so that he gets into the relationship because he wants to receive money from sugar mommies. So much so that when he actually gets into a relationship with a girlfriend or wife to be of his age, he will have no idea what to do with her because he's only known that only women give him money. He doesn't know that as a man, you should step in and, even as boyfriend, you can look at your girl and buy her a pair of slippers. That shows that you are mentally readily preparing yourself that when you become a dad, you will cater for your home without being asked how you should cater for your home. Okay, so this is what Rosa K says. The best way to change a man to change a man to change is to leave him and let him change for the best person and feel the pains of losing the precious gifts. I completely agree with that. Mental capacity, oh, do me we see as a desperate woman. Of course, yes, yes, that's true. That's true. So going back to this story that I called out from Delhi's matchup. So this is what Delhi's matchups had to say. And then next thing she says is this woman clearly has lost her sense of self-worth, and the fact that she keeps going back doesn't justify the animal. So this is our next view. As women that we have made our own mistakes through the course of our lives. We missed being informed. Maybe when we were growing up, I grew up in the 90s. I'm a 90s baby, so I'm that old. And maybe I did not enjoy the luxury of my parents putting me down to teach me about sexual education. And I had to try and see and make my own mistakes. And when I tried and saw and made my own mistakes, there are some of those mistakes that are beautiful, but that became a mark on me. And that if I should have a chance to teach a younger person, I would tell them that these are mistakes that you should not make. If now that I have the chance to teach my child that this is what you should and should not do, it's the best thing that I can actually do to change perspectives from what my generation went through. So basically, this is what Delhi's matchup says. As parents, it is our obligation to bring our kids up so that first they are confident in their body. That is why, if you're a parent who has looked up at how you should teach sexual education, you will understand that teaching kids sexual education starts from 0 to 24 months. At 0 to 24 months, you are able to teach your child that, oh, this is your wee wee. You use your wee wee to pee pee. Oh, this is your poo poo. This is your poop hole. You use your poop hole to poo poo. You start teaching them those things, and you start making them to know their different types of body parts, making them to know that, oh, girls have vulvas, they have vaginas, boys have penis, and that these are the functions of these different body parts. You create a confidence in them, and you make your child to be comfortable in the skin they have. And it gets to a point where you have to tell your child that there is some parts of the body that are called private parts. And when they call these parts of the body private parts, it means that they should be private. There comes a time where maybe at 5 to 8 years old, you have to inform your child that you own your privacy. You own your room, your bedroom. You should lock up your door. If someone is coming in, they have to knock. And until you say, come in, please, they should not come into your room because that is your privacy. You have to get to a point where you give your child the courage. And at this point in time, when I read what Delhi's matchup posted, what the comment Delhi's matchup gave in regards to this case of domestic violence, she says this woman has lost her sense of self-worth. And the fact that she keeps going back doesn't justify the animal. Okay, so And the fact that she keeps going back doesn't justify the animal. So, what does this mean? It means that the adult that was capable of teaching this woman, this grown up, grown ass woman, missed something. They did not teach her self worth. They did not teach her sexual education. The male, the male models in her life failed her, because if this girl grew up in a home where her mother was treated right, then she would not be going back to an abuser. Then she would want to be with a man who symbolizes the male figures in her life in her formative years. It means that some male adult who was supposed to form this girl into who she was supposed to become, messed her life up. And today, the only kind of love she knows, the only love language she knows is the violent type. And that is why this man keeps abusing her, and she keeps on living and coming back. At one time, she feels like this is not right, and then she leaves. And at the other time, she feels like this is the only thing I know in the name of love, so I should come back. And another time, she feels like, oh, he would definitely change, but he never changes. And then you ask yourself, are you teaching your girl child the right type of love? Are you showing your boy child that this is how you should treat a woman? Are you showing your girl child that this is the kind of love you should demand for a man to show you? So much so that if you meet a man who is not showing you the kind of love that your dad is showing to your mom, so much so that if you meet a man who is not showing you the love that your uncle is showing to your auntie, that your auntie is showing to your mommy, then there is something that is lacking in that man, and that you should run away. These are things that in our African perspectives, we never sit down to talk about. And this shows that there is something in our society lacking when it comes to sexual education. That there is something that we actually need to meet up with when it comes to sexual education. So I've been reading Delhi's matchups and her comment about this case of domestic violence, and this is what she said. So Rosa K says mental capacity. Okay, she says exactly. So she agrees with what I'm saying. Okay. And Delhi's matchup completes this comment by saying this could be the only thing close to love she's experienced, and that's what I've been explaining. Sometimes some people tolerate abuse not because they do not know that they are being abused, but because it is the only form of love they have ever known. That is why if you are bringing up a boy child whose dad is everything wrong, strive to bring up that child in the right way so that that child knows that there is everything wrong in the mentor they should be looking out for and why they should correct it. I always say that in life, whatever happens to you, you choose the consequence that comes to you. You have the choice to choose the consequences. Sometimes you cannot say that because your dad was a drunkard, you want to become a drunkard. No. Yes, your dad was a drunkard. Did you see how that affected your mom? Did you see how that affected you? Did you see how that ruined your growth? Did you see how that shaped your mind, your mentality, on your growth? If you could see how that distorted everything you were supposed to have in your life, then instead of choosing to become a drunkard like your dad, so that your children suffer from everything you suffered from your dad, you've got the choice to decide that it ends here, and that your children are not going to be the same thing you suffered from, and that you have the choice to bring the change right now. Sometimes we are like, oh, because my mom was a prostitute, it's okay for me to be a prostitute. Because my mom walked the streets and hustled the streets, it is okay for me to hustle the streets and walk the streets. No, you can change your family's history. You can determine what the future would hold right now by changing the narratives. And how do you change the narratives? It is by accepting and acknowledging that this is what went wrong. Once you accept and acknowledge that this is what went wrong, then you have the effrontery, then you have the tools to actually change the narratives and make what was a shame to become something of glory, so that when people see how much you have stepped up, they will respect you, that you are the one who changed your family's story. Sometimes some of us are like, okay, because my dad kept women east, west, north, and south, because my dad was a womanizer, because my dad beat up my mom, I am going to also beat up women. I am going to also become a womanizer. No, 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 no. You have got the choice to change it by looking at how that affected your mom, by looking at the aspect that you are copying from your dad because you were affected. You are not yet through mentally with how your dad's exigencies ruined your life and growth as a child. You have not understood that instead of becoming your dad, you have the choice to becoming someone that is better than your dad. Now we are looking at a case of domestic violence, and we are relating this case of domestic violence to how some situations, some family patterns can actually shape the way we think, and how to delete those patterns and choose choices that keep us informed, and choose choices that can actually change the narratives and make us to attain our purpose, not because of the background we're coming from, but because we intentionalize what it means to become a change in what was the mess in our background. Okay, so I'm done with reading this. I'm done with reading Delhi's matchups reactions. So let me go to another commenter's reactions, and this one is coming from Pechukwi Lorata, and she says, sometimes I wonder if it's love or addiction, low self-esteem and lack of confidence. You allow a boy beat you like this when you guys are still doing hide and seek. I wonder what will happen when he gets married to you. Dear sister, he doesn't love you. Leave before you lose your life. Don't forget to report him to the police and charge him to court. I agree with her. That is a bad ass kind of advice. When you feel now, this is something that I really want to talk about. Not only women are abused. I've had a male friend who was abused by his wife. As much as in Africa, we feel like it's only women that are abused, it's only women that are abused, it's only women that go through abuse. No, there are some evil women that are so wicked to their partners that they abuse their partners. So when we talk about abuse, we should try to balance it. We should try to understand that as much as there are some terrible men who are treating women very badly, there are some very terrible women who have very great men that are treating them so bad. We have to come to a compos mentis with the aspect that there are good women and good men, and there are bad women and bad men. We have to agree on that balance. And I completely agree with what this commenter said. Okay, let's go to the next comment where this comment is from Karen Noja, who says, how do we educate our women against CWS? CWS means come will stay. Come will stay is a Cameroonian slang whereby, a man and a woman just live together without being married. They just live together, no marriage, nothing. Yeah. So she says, how do we educate women against counseling and domestic violence? How do we empower them to become independent and not stay in abusive relationships or resort to CWS due to desperation? So I think what she's saying is that sometimes we women are so desperate. We get so desperate that we feel like if there is no man in our lives, then there is no complete woman. And I understand that aspect. I have been through that. I know what it means. Okay, like I had this friend, and since I've had this friend for the past, let me say, 5 years. We've never met face to face. I think we met online, and we kind of had some sort of friendship that we just clicked, and we talk a lot. This friend of mine is actually married. He's got a family and he's got a beautiful daughter. And there was this time in my life whereby he would just call me up and tell me, are you are you trying to tell me that as pretty as you are, you're not yet married? And I would laugh at him and I would be like, oh my, oh, I would just laugh and I would be like, okay, 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 I get it, I get it that I should be married, but I am a woman. I cannot propose to a man. Even if I'm loving a man, even if I am dying for a man, I would actually just be mellow and wait for the man to actually see me and then chat me up and be the one to tell me that he loves me and would want to marry me. That's what I told him. And he did this the first time, the second time, the third time, and the fourth time. I just started avoiding him because there are some kind of conversations that you should not encourage. Basically, that was a time in my life where I was not ready for any relationship. I was not ready to get into a relationship and I was not ready to date anyone. So when he was on my case, like, don't you think you should get married? I told him, I am not the one to get married to myself. If somebody comes and I feel like we connect spiritually, then I would definitely fall in love with that person. If I fall in love with him, it's falling in love. But if I don't fall in love with him, then I cannot force it. Okay, so let's go back to our point where she says, you allow a boy beat you like this when you guys are still doing hide and seek. I wonder what will happen when he gets married to you. Dear sister, he doesn't love you. Hi Jackie, hi Jackie, hi Jackie. You're welcome to this YouTube live video. Please do not forget to give your girl a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jackie's Fashion. Hey guys, so this is Jackie's Fashion, and she's a Cameroonian YouTuber who is into a lot of, fashion, designing stuffs. And I've learned a lot from her. And I actually got my sewing machine because of her tutorials on YouTube, and she's that good. So if you want to learn a lot of tutorials, like right now, I'm learning how to do my own kind of um, hair bonnet, and you can check out Jackie's Fashion and you get a lot of tips on how to, sew and do your own kind of fashion stuffs by yourself. And she's that good. So check out Jackie's Fashion for more. Okay, so going back to what I was reading, and she says, dear sister, he doesn't love you. Leave before you lose your life. Don't forget to report him to the police and charge him to court. Leave before you lose your life. Sometimes most of us do not want to leave before we lose our lives. There are so many ways you can lose your life. Sometimes being in an abusive relationship doesn't mean that it is through dying that you will lose your life. No. I read another case of a girl who complained about having been in a relationship with this guy. She aborted so many times while she was in a relationship with this guy. And then once she was pronounced unable to have kids, this guy went and he's about to get married to another girl on the excuse that he cannot marry her because she cannot make babies. So if you are considering giving yourself to a man in the form of CWS, boyfriend, girlfriend, and you would have to risk your life to abort your babies because he's not ready, then it's on you, not on the guy. You choose the consequences for which you want to manifest in your life. You have the decision. It is your body. You can actually have the propensity to tell a guy that I do not want to have sex without a dom com, so that he can also decide if he wants to have it with you. Let him wear a dom com. If he doesn't want to wear a dom com, shut it down and move, because his only responsibility over your body is the 10 minutes he's got. And after those 10 minutes, the consequences are yours to bear. And those consequences can be from a month to the rest of your life, to a lifetime. So believe in yourself and tell yourself, I have the choice. I decide what to carry and not to carry. That's where we make a lot of mistakes as African women. We do not know that it is our choice to command, to restore, to have, and not to have. Thank you, Jackie. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thank you so, so much. Okay. So I'm reading the next comment from another commenter. Okay, and at this point in time, I one thing I forgot to tell you guys is that I called out these posts from Delhi's Matchups and from Esau Dilly's blog, and these are all Cameroonian bloggers. If you want to see the full story, you can go to their blogs and you would actually see this story and the comments that came in with this story. So this is one of the comments that came in, a very interesting comment, and this is what he said. This is from Robert Bonique, and he says, "Tell her, wait, I'm actually confused." He says, tell her sex is for married people, that she should never look or try it, because if she does, she will have HIV or STD since she's not married. It's a sin if she's not married. Tell her the disadvantage of a premarital sex. It's an opportunity for you to start your premarital sex education. Sorry. So this is my next, this is going to be my next video. So I kind of mixed this up. Okay, so guys, it is about 12:30 a.m. in China. So I'm going to end this live video right now because it's raining outside. It's time to sleep, and I've got a very, very big day tomorrow. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for following me on this live video. And trust me, I would definitely be there at your live video session. Thank you so much for stopping by. I love you back to back. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I pray that let the God of the universe, let the God of the heavens bless you. And see you next time. So have a Belvy from Belvy Creations. So my name is La Vie, and see you next time. Goodbye.